Come on now. Y'all already know what this is. Welcome again to another episode of the Xclusive Knights Podcast. First things first, God did this. Don't get mad with us. Hey, look, I'm your host, the man, the myth, the legend, Eric Knight. We got the Heartbreak Prince. We got the Golden State Stat Warrior, the Stat Man himself. We got Mr. Exclusive. And we also got the One Night Face for one night only. So don't get used to it, baby. Hey, let's go ahead and get into it. Before we get started with anything else, let's see who really knows their wrestling. Hey, Russ, my man, the Stat Man, what you got for us this week, man?
So, as I told you guys last week, this week's question was going to be centered around Grand Slams and Triple Crowns, more specifically Triple Crowns. So, this week's question is, there have been 4 guys that have won both the WCW and WWE Triple Crown. Can you name them? And me asking you that question, that I'll give one of them away, but I did give you a hint.
That was slick. That was like how you did it. That's not what you did, sir. That's not what you did.
Yeah, we're gonna see about that. We're gonna see about that. Well, shoot, let's get into the best part, the most enticing part of the week. Let's get into Monday Night Raw, baby. I mean, I don't know how many times I got to say it, and I'm going to keep saying it. 3 hours of heat, 3 hours of fire, 3 hours of non-stop storytelling that just keeps getting better. Now, if we really want to talk about a few things that happened, of course, we know about what's going on with Gunther and Randy. And of course, we know what's going on with the Judgment Day. I mean, how many times we've been talking about that? But the biggest thing, and I mean the biggest thing we really need to talk about is Bronson Tsunami Reed. Yeah, that's right. You know what? Heartbreak Prince called it himself. He called him the Bronson Tsunami Reed. Now, if we really want to talk about it, he had a match with the Miz. You know, started off. We already seen what was going on. He hit him with a tsunami once. All right, cool. Now, R-Truth being the great tag team partner he is, he said, "Nah, come on, don't hit him again. Nah." Now you got hit with a tsunami. What happens again? Now you get hit with 2 tsunamis. Now you get hit with 3. Now at this point, everybody wants to come out. Adam Pearce says, "Hey, don't do it again, or you're gonna get suspended." What did Bronson say? "Oh, really? I don't give a damn. I'm gonna do it again." Now look at Adam Pearce. Adam Pearce is over here looking like he really does need a drink. Because at this point, I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, you can't keep your roster in check. And Bronson had hit R-Truth, the national treasure, with 5 tsunamis. I mean, I don't know what else to say about this, man. And, you know, Mr. Exclusive really talked about this earlier. He had already really broke this down. He had already said that, you know, somebody else is going to be next on the hit list. So, Mr. Exclusive, give your thoughts.
Hey man, look, I told y'all. What did I tell y'all last week? I said somebody's going to at least into retirement on a strong vacation. And I ain't gonna lie to you. At first, I was okay, maybe the man's got, you got to go home and take care of Maurice. And I understand that, she's a beautiful woman. He's got two precious kids. Maybe he needed to go take care of business. But I didn't see them going after the national treasure, man. I didn't see R-Truth getting there and getting demolished that way. And you can just hear the heartbreak in the crowd. Now, it's a strong contrast in what we saw last week when Seth was getting the beat. Everybody, yeah, we must be in a different town, different city, because they were like, stop killing him. Like, you can hear it in the crowd. They're like, you're killing R-Truth. What are you doing? Please stop. So yeah, it was once again a great job of them, kind of pushing Bronson, and like the crowd turned on him a little bit, but that's what you want. You got the happy-go-lucky last week, and they were kind of cool with it, but you want them to kind of turn on him. You want him to be that big-time heel. So for me, I loved it. Seeing Bronson kind of, grow and continue to do his thing here at his next level was big for me. I like what I see, and I'm just going to go ahead and throw it out there now. So tomorrow, I don't know if y'all want to take a guess on who's going to get it. I don't know who needs some time off. But somebody about to get it again next week. So somebody, it might be the Miz. They might officially just take the Miz out of commission, say, you know what, you can go ahead and go join your tag team partner. So just be ready for it, because it's happening tomorrow as well.
Yeah, man. It's looking dangerous for anybody that's on there. And I think for them choosing R-Truth was definitely the perfect pick if they really wanted to get him that real good natural heat. And I ain't talking to Miami Heat. Heartbreak Prince, what are your thoughts on this whole situation?
I mean, I love it. What a way to make Bronson Reed a figure, right? So last week we wondered if this is going to be a situation where he had this one-off with Seth Rollins, the crowd cheered in Baltimore, a little different than normal, especially seeing a face like Seth receive multiple tsunamis. But what I like what Triple H and the team did here was, for a second week in a row, they doubled down on it. They doubled down on it and made us gave us the signal that Bronson Tsunami Reed, let me correct myself, Bronson Tsunami Reed is here, and he is here to exact a toll on anybody in that locker room, and that we better start putting some spec on his name. And so I love it. I can't wait to see who is going to be victim this week on Monday Night Raw, and where they're getting ready to push Bronson, whether even as a heel, even if he's going to be the heel. The fact that the crowd each and every week is chanting one more tsunami. This man is doing the move. He's satisfying the crowd. The crowd always chants that we want tables, we want chairs. They're asking this dude to give multiple tsunamis, upwards of 5 and 6 tsunamis to these wrestlers. And one last thing to put it over the top for me was it was gold. When he did it to the Miz and he hit R-Truth with it. But I got to give Michael Cole his credit when he mentioned that Bronson Tsunami Reed giving the tsunamis to R-Truth, and R-Truth being a national treasure. I mean, I enjoyed it.
It was great, man. I think the direction they're going with him is it's really immaculate. It really is. It's going good. Statman, what's your thoughts, man? What you think?
At this point, I'm trying to figure out who's going to push him over the edge to get Adam Pearce to actually have a match in WWE. Because I feel like a lot of people are forgetting that's a former NWA World Heavyweight Champion right there. So the man knows how to wrestle. But like I said last week, guys, I've been a fan of Bronson Reed since that breakout tournament, the first one in NXT. Him and Dexter Lumis, for that matter, from the same tournament. So like everything he's done the last couple of weeks, I'm a big fan of. I love it. I just want to see more of him, and I'm still mad about the North American title run that he had, or lack thereof. So like hopefully this is the start of something new, because they need some more heels on Raw, and somehow it's like him and Gunther, they have heels on Raw, but then somehow they turn them into cool heels, so they're not really like heels that you need to hate. They're heels that you want to like. So it's kind of like, what do we do here? How do we fix that? And I think they're trying to fix it with Bronson Reed, but it's not working. So he's a heel that people like somehow. But like I'm excited to see him get a legit shot on the main roster, and just the stories on Raw have been just amazing, and even SmackDown is starting to catch up a little bit too. So I'm excited to see where it goes.
I agree. One night base, because it's only one night only. What's your thoughts, man?
I don't know who he's gonna go after this week. Man, he's killing people, man. We just had that picture up there of Adam Pearce scolding Bronson, right? Look at that man's leg right there. That man is dead. He's done for. He is not coming back no time soon. And, my thing is with this whole Bronson thing, I love it, right? But what championship is he going to go after? He's not going to take it from Gunther. LA Knight is on a run. I know they're not on the same show, but I like I said, I love what we're doing, but where are we going? So that's my thing on that.
You know what that picture reminds me of? It reminds me of the beginning of Boys in the Hood and be like, y'all want to see a dead body? And it's right behind his shoulders. That's what that
like
picture
Wizard
reminds
of
Oz. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
No,
Although,
I think
I have heard that this could be the start of possibly a recharacter or like a retool of R-Truth, because that's also another former NWA World Heavyweight Champion. So like I don't think we've seen like serious R-Truth since the 2010s, like early 2010s, maybe.
Yeah.
It's been a while, so I'm open to see something.
He's been very unserious for a long time. I mean, hey, yeah, if he gets that character change, I think that'll be good for him. I don't think he needs it, but I do feel like that would be kind of cool to see R-Truth a little bit more serious. But him being a national treasure, they probably still gonna love him regardless. You know how that goes. But
he's not John Cena or John Cena. He can be heel.
I mean, I think he could, but I don't know, man. I think for R-Truth, he's just one of those guys. When you look at him, I don't think it's not that you can't take him serious. I think it's because even when he said he can be so dead serious, but I think it's just probably the way he delivers it. You probably just mess around and just laugh and be like, "Dang, I didn't know he was for real. I didn't know he was serious." But R-Truth got that capability. He can do that. That's one thing about being pro wrestler. You got to be able to do both. But we talked a little bit about Raw. This NXT. So now we talking about NXT. We can always talk about a lot of things when it comes to NXT. We can always talk about the great up-and-comers. It's coming up. We can really, and what we need to talk about is this women's division. How it's constantly growing. I mean, right now we're seeing this whole Gaunlet match. And so far, the Eliminator match that we have so far, we got Adriana Rizzo, okay? We got, let's see who else we got on there. We got Kendall Gray. We got, let's see who else we got on here. Oh, we got Sol Ruka. Can't forget about her because, that's Sol Ruka. That's the soul snatcher herself. We got Red Sinclair. And we got a couple others. Who else we got here? We got Jada Parker. You got to watch out for that one, boy. And then also, last but not least, the good old Shing Shing herself, Carmen Petrovich, which is also a very amazing wrestler herself. Now, this group of women here, I thought was a little interesting. We go down this list. Now, we talking about, the obvious picks that you would think that would win this. I got a couple. I mean, I'd be lying if I didn't say Jada Parker probably number one on my list. Sol Ruka to be up there. And the monkey wrench, dark horse, Ren Sinclair. Watch out for her. The reason why I picked Ren Sinclair for a few reasons. Okay, they've been pushing her real hard. They then she's in this whole new faction now. She's been doing a lot of work with them. And then you got to think about it too. I always feel like the people that they always have like a little push, they're a little bit different than how they used to be. They got a little bit of an edge, and that's Ren Sinclair right now. She's my pick, I really think, to win this gauntlet match. Now, I could really say, who would we want to see win? Jada Parker. Why? Why not? How would you not? But Sol Ruka, great face. That's a great face you got to put against Roxanne Perez. But I'm not going to just, say what I think. I'm going to get the rest of you guys' opinion. So let's start it off with the one-night stand man himself, One Night Bates. What's your thoughts?
I got Jada. It's Jada. Out of all those women, Jada. And then after that, I would go with Sol Ruka. And all those other women, they all look the same to me. I could care less about those women. It's time for Jada. It's time for Jada. Sol Ruka's had a couple of chances, but now, yeah, let's go Jada.
What's your thoughts?
Who'd you pick, Eric?
Oh, not say Harper Prince. But
Okay, there we go. All right, we good.
Okay, yeah, we got.
My bad. All right, so for me, I'm a little bit. I got to go for Soul, but at the same time, for me, I asked a question when I saw this. I said it feels like a miss to me because again, my girl Lash Legends is not getting the push that I feel like she deserves, and I feel like. She keep getting pushed to the back, keep getting pushed to the back. But in this case, with what we have to deal with, we got 3 women that I really don't know much about. And then you got Jordan, or I say 4, I should say, I don't really know much about. And you got Sol Ruka and Jordan. And I'm going for Sol Ruka. That's me. But at the same time, the problem that I have is if Sol Ruka wins this match, and goes on for the championship and she loses again. Now she lost for the North American Championship. Now she's lost for the World Championship. And so what happens now? Like, it's like all the wind in her sails are gone. So it's gone. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. I guess I have to watch this gauntlet match and kind of see. I mean, because Sean has been cooking, right? And Kalani Jordan wasn't my natural pick for the North American title, but she's won the North American title. She's been doing great work, and it has really changed my mind and my opinion on it, as we talked about last week. But I don't know. I wanted Lash to be involved, and she's not. So Sol Ruka's my next choice. But again, like I said, it's dangerous because she loses again. I don't know how you're gonna build her back.
Yeah, I see what you mean by that. I can definitely see that. I think. See, this is my thing with this gauntlet match too, and and Statman, you next. We got you, man. I think what it is, I think some of these women that they picked on here probably could have been better fit for the North American title if they were doing like a gauntlet match for that. I think some of these women were a better fit for that.
Yeah.
I think to have some of these women, that's what I said. Like, you look at like some of the ones like Adriana Rizzo that's with Tony D'Angelo on there. Now she can wrestle. Some people, if you look her on NXT Level Up, she can wrestle. She's got a great moveset. She can do a lot. But do I think she should be in the gauntlet match for the NXT Women's title yet? I don't know. We haven't really seen her do too much. And so it's just like, there's a couple people that's on here. I'm like, I haven't seen you enough to say I think you should be on that main title shot picture. No, I think this is what the NXT North American Women's title was for. At least I thought. But we'll see. Statman, what's your thoughts, man? What you got?
I think to put it out there, there's a reason why we haven't seen these women that much. Really, it's because only one of these girls have been with the company for more than 2 years, and that's Sol Ruka, and she's just barely over that 2-year mark. So like I think if we're treating this as it truly is in NXT, if they're going to call it a developmental program, then that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to develop more names because you can't just pull good names out of a hat. You got to make the character like they're doing with Bronson Reed. They got to make the character first, and then you got to fall in love with the character, and then you're going to see that character, and you're going to know who that person is. So it's like I'm going to give it time to develop. I see Elwood's point, Heartbreak's point for Lash Legend, but like that's almost the same as like AEW where they have 2 women's titles. So if they got to build up the class for both of contenders, so it's kind of like. You're not always going to have people in the matches that you know about, and maybe it's they're not on the level of the NXT Championship yet, but they got to come out of somewhere. because you can't just pull a random challenger out of the hat. Yeah, because it's not always going to work. It's going to be the same people you have. I would say like the only person I think in my eyes is definitely not going to win, and that's is maybe Soruka, just because she had a title match a couple months ago on an actual pay-per-view, whether it be for the North American Championship or not. She had a title match already this year, so like that's who I would probably say is the first one to lose. But I'm just I'm waiting to see what happens. I don't know much about these women themselves. I would want Jada Parker to win, but I'm not surprised if she doesn't, if they want to build a new star. Because this is No Mercy, so they do have another pay-per-view, I think, probably coming up in like November around Survivor Series, somewhere around there. If this is not, I wouldn't be surprised if this is just, kind of a seat filler challenge until then. So we'll see what happens.
I feel that. Yeah, that's why I said there's a couple. Names, the name for sure you guys need to look out for, definitely Ren Sinclair. Watch out for her. That's the dark horse for me. Mr. Xclusive, what's your thoughts, man? What do you think?
Well, there's gonna be a lot of piggybacking here. First of all, what our man One Night Base said, I agree with him. I feel bad because those other women I really don't. I've seen them, but they haven't really grabbed my attention just yet. And for me, it has to be Soruka or Jada Parker. At least that's who it should be. But I also agree with Heartbreak Prince. Whereas, like, can you have one of them afford to lose when you're still trying to kind of build their momentum? And I think if you're going to pick between the two of them that I think could lose and still be okay would probably be Jada Parker. I think she's got such a level right now. I think she'll be fine, but I don't think it'll be good for Soruka to lose again. I don't want to see that happen. So I do think it will be one of the other young ladies that probably ascend because, as the Garden State Warriors said, you got to have somebody, maybe a transitional person, to get you to the next big pay-per-view. So that's kind of where I'm seeing it at now. But what it could do for one of those young ladies is help boost them into maybe a North American title picture where they do such a good job against Roxanne and be like, man, what a great match she had. I didn't know she had all of this, because that's probably going to be me when I'm like, man, she can go. Look at this. So that's what I'll be kind of looking for. Roxanne's not losing that title no time soon. And maybe it's time for her to head to the main roster. I don't see her losing it right off the bat. I thought Lola Vice was probably, in my opinion, in her title defenses in the last couple of months, and I felt like if they were going to take it, that was the person they were going to have it taken from her. But that's not the case right now. So it'll be fun. NXT has been cooking. The chef has been on point. So we'll see how it goes.
I will say there has been someone who recently announced their last match in Japan before she finally comes over to WWE, and that is Julia. If anyone remembers that they did sign her, they have a closer date to where she's going to actually show up in WWE and probably go straight to NXT.
Yeah, well, that would be nice for her, honestly. I think having her on that division, that's going to be scary, boy. I mean, not to say that we already know that women's division is already stacked, but you add that on there, that's, jeez. I don't know what you going to do after that? Oh, man. Well, we talked about NXT for a little bit. Let's get into that AEW Dynamite. So, we here, man. We talking about Dynamite. They was in Norfolk, Virginia. One Night Bates was there. He's seeing some things happen in action. But one big thing that's really been getting talked about a lot in AEW right now is Bryan Danielson. Big one. This is a huge thing everybody's talking about right now. Is this his last match? Is this possibly a time when he might get a title? That's a good question. Honestly, in my opinion, it's either one of the two. It's either you're up next or you're out of the door. Which one is it? Okay, because look, let me tell you something. Bryan Danielson's been in AEW for a solid couple of years now. And every match this man has put on has been 5-star matches. Now, to say he's had plenty of title runs in AEW, I wouldn't say so. But I do think if he does win this one, then we know he's definitely in it for the long run for at least one more last title run. Or to say that your last match is against Swerve Strickland is kind of crazy. But in my opinion, if we're really going to talk about it, it's not really much. I feel like it was a big build-up for this match. I mean, yeah, we could talk about it, you know. Come on now. My man Swerve getting his whole face kicked in. But, you know, he came out on top, you know. I mean, and this is a challenge he came out and he challenged Bryan Danielson for. And you know, it was just like one of those things. It was like, all right, well, what are we doing here? What are we doing here for Swerve? How are we making Swerve look like the champion? Because I don't know if he really is a champion. When I see him on the screen, I'm like, oh, is this really a champion? I wouldn't say much if he is a champion, because when they put you on AEW, I'm like, oh, it's just Swerve, not a champion. So we'll see. But one person's opinion I really want to get on a serious note is my man, One Night Base. What are your thoughts on the Swerve and Bryan Danielson storyline going on right now?
Boy, where do we start? Bryan is my guy, as everyone knows. I want that man to win gold so bad there, and all he's been doing is uplifting. I mean, I'm sick of it. But, you know, you got to give back to the youth at the end of the day. When we talk about Swerve, AEW don't treat him like the champ that he should be. His name is always the smallest in the font. He's never emboldened or bigger than everybody else. He's just another wrestler, you know. It's just bad over there sometimes. You know, they got a lot of things they got to clean up. But speaking of this match, man, I'm like in between, because we've heard the stories that Bryan Danielson is ready to just let it go. But in my heart of hearts, I think he's going to pull this off and do this last run, and then, you know, it'll be some story, and he just, once he loses, that's a wrap right there. But I know you said it might be a little disrespectful that Swerve is the guy that put him down, but hey, if he does, he does. You know, I mean, you got to build your name somewhere, so it's not like Swerve is a bad wrestler or anything. It's just AEW doesn't treat him like the top guy, how a top guy should be. You know what I mean? That's the thing at the end of the day for that.
Yeah, I agree. And I know we have talked about that before, especially with Swerve. I mean, even when he first won the title, it seemed like it was just like the next week right after he was like the opening match. It wasn't like a celebration. Of course, I know WWE does that, whatever, but it didn't feel like, oh, my man's just won the title. You know, it just felt like, oh, okay, he won the title. Let's get him back in. All right. And I do agree with that. I don't feel like he's gotten that proper treatment as a champion. I think in some ways he has, yes, but I do agree with you. Like the font being small, I think there's just little misses that they've definitely done. Heartbreak Prince, what are your thoughts? What do you think about this whole thing?
Yeah, I agree. You know, to piggyback off of, you know, One Night. I think AEW does have a issue with the way they've kind of promoted Swerve, as especially for him to be as over with the crowd, and how much the crowd loves you know, Swerve, and how good he is in the ring. I mean, hey, let's not you know, make any mistake about it. Swerve is phenomenal in the ring. He's a great wrestler. Whether you want to go technical, or whether it's more of like spots, just his whole in-ring talent is A1. And I would have thought that he would have been a bigger push for AEW, but to get to the Bryan Danielson part of it, I don't see this going any other way besides Bryan Danielson winning the title. Mostly because if it's one thing I've noticed in AEW, the title holder doesn't stay champion long. You know, you're talking 4 or 5 month spans. I don't even know who last held the belt for a while, probably Moxley, but for the most part, recently, it seemed like every few months they're swapping out the title holder. And I feel like this is going to be Bryan Danielson's last hoorah, and they're going to give him this opportunity to kind of carry the belt and carry the company for a little bit before he goes on and rides off into the sunset. And I don't have any problems with it. I think Bryan Danielson, excuse me, has earned this opportunity. He's earned the the chance to carry the company, and I think he's gonna do it well because he's Bryan Danielson, and he's probably top 5, top 10 wrestler in the world. So yeah, I mean, I don't see this going any other way. I think Bryan's going to go ahead and take the title.
Yeah, that's what it's kind of looking like. But they could swerve us. I talk to Swerve Strickland. Statman, what are your thoughts on the situation?
To touch on what everyone else has touched on, let's not forget whose house this is. This is Swerve's house, and we need to put some respect on his name. That man has been on an uptick since he had this whole underground rapper thing back in NXT. His character, he's been just steering into the curb in a good way because his character work has been great. Now, I think the original question is, do we believe this is his last match? I don't believe anyone's retirement match is their last match. I don't. Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, Kane, nobody. I don't believe nobody for a word when they say they're going to stay retired. Now, I do believe maybe I think he said specifically he wants to retire before he's 44, I want to say, and he turns 44 next May with his daughter and his son. I will say he's the one I believe the most. He's never given me a reason to doubt him. And I don't know what else I can say other than just like what everyone else has said. Like, he deserves this chance to be the head of the company, the face of the company, because if you think of 5 years almost now, they've been an actual company. You think of the 5 years of the shows they put on, and you think of the top 10 matches that in this company's short 5-year history, he's probably at least in about 5, 6, 7, 8 of them, if not all 10. So like, the man has done the work. He's done the time, like, even just not like, outside of this, just this one storyline buildup. He's outside of AEW. He's done the work. He deserves everything that he gets if he does actually win the championship. And also because I can't help it, I did know it's 406 days. That's the longest title that title has ever been held, and it was MJF before he lost to Samoa Joe last year. And also, if he wins, because I always like to throw in numbers to you guys, this will be the third person to have won the WWE and AEW championship. Just because I like numbers, that. Also, the third person to win the AEW and Ring of Honor championship too, as well, in their career.
Okay, no, that is kind of crazy because I didn't even know that. So, see, that's wild. See, this is why we got you here, Statman.
Statman at his finest.
That's the Statman, Mr. Xclusive. What are your thoughts, man? What you think?
Well, I feel bad for Swerve because I feel like the title reign has been a little bit underwhelming, and the build up to it initially, I thought like, this is going to be prime for him. The fans are truly appreciate him as a wrestler, but I feel like, I don't know, maybe so far it just hasn't gravitated. Maybe just the push doesn't seem the way it should be. Like, I feel like it should be amazing, and he's not, and maybe not getting the push that we all would like to see from him. So I would like to see that at one point, or maybe this match will help propel him, because we know Bryan Danielson, same dream. We know that we know what he's going to do when he gets in the ring. We know the architect that he is, the masterpiece that he is in the ring. He's gonna make this thing look amazing one way or the other. So you're gonna put two great competitors in the ring to go at it. I would like to see Daniel or Bryan Danielson win this championship, but he's looked like he's in the point of his career that he doesn't really need it, or he feels like he doesn't need it. That's the vibe that I get from him. Yeah, they're gonna push it, but I think if anything, this is gonna really help. Help Swerve, hopefully take it to another level in this title reign. Real quick, I got to shout out my girl, Timeless Tony Storm. And she told Sarai that she had quote unquote pale shitty titties. I just had to throw that in there. I thought that was the funniest thing that I saw. I saw that this morning and I giggled a lot. So my girl, she never disappoints. I just had to throw that in there real quick.
That's why she's timeless.
She's timeless, baby. That's timeless. In there. We in there.
I mean, well, shoot, we talk about timeless. Let's talk about it real quick. I mean, because it would be just as if we didn't talk about timeless Tony Storm. The greatness that she's doing with her and Mariah May. I mean, Mariah May cut that. She cut that whole movie. It looked good. It looked good, and I honestly think even with Mariah May right now, I think she's looking really solid on this heel run. I think they got something with her. I'm kind of mad we didn't talk about this because we always talked about with AEW Dynamite, especially when it came to the women. We always kept saying who's really good contenders, who do they have, and I think right now what they're doing, Mariah May on Dynamite is looking sensational. Okay. And I ain't talking future. But, we got to think about it like this. You got timeless Toni Storm. She's over here killing promos. I mean, even on Rampage. She's on Rampage already. Still, I mean, just doing great work. And you got somebody like Mariah May that's coming up with Toni Storm, and it's looking good. And it's looking solid. And just the work that they're doing. Now, again, I've said this before, I would love to see them do some more face-to-face promos. Now we're coming very close to All In, so I'm gonna need some kind of a little bit more of an interaction for them to be, just I need more. I need a little bit more. Not to say that they're not doing a lot, or they're not doing enough. Just a little bit more, and they got it. They got it just a little bit. One Night Beats. What's your thoughts?
You said you need more. They've given us more. What are you talking about? That lady had that shoe to her head and making her bleed. You don't want them touching until, maybe this show coming up, but you don't want those people touching. They hate each other. I mean, hate each other. She dug that that heel in that woman's head, and she was up there screaming and dying up on that stage. So what they're doing right now, hey, clap it up. I love it, man. I love it, man. I don't think Tony's going to win now. Yeah, Mariah is next up. They built her up, and it's looking real. The future is looking real good for her. But yeah, man, I don't want them. Don't touch this shit. Do it at the big show.
Okay,
I gotta agree.
like that.
I gotta agree. I think Mariah is getting ready to go over in this, I want to see it.
Yeah, that's what's kind of looking like it's shaping up to be. It was one of the things I know we talked about it before. We had said is this possibly the time for Mariah May? Would this be the time for Tony to drop the belt? And if Toni Storm not having a belt, what would it look like? What would it look like for Toni on her road without the belt? Miss Xclusive, what's your thought?
See, that's a world I don't want to live in. Let me just throw it out there right now. I don't want to live in a world that timeless Toni Storm is not the AEW Women's Champion. I mean, this is she by far right now is my favorite women's wrestler, gimmick, whatever way you want to put it, going in the company and all wrestling right now. It's just I've always been an old school guy. I'm the old man in this group. I'm almost 40. The gray hairs are kicking in, and so for me, then the nostalgia part of it just makes me happy. And then last week when Russ said the greatness about the Vaudevillains, I had to wear the shirt today.
Nice,
because it made so much sense. I would love to see that, because that would have been something great back in 2016-17 timeframe. But no. I don't want to see a world without her with the title, but I know at some point it has to happen, and it more likely could happen this time around. But when it happens, will AEW be able to push Mariah May the right way to get her title reign and make her title reign nice and strong? And how do they go for that? Who's that next opponent? And I think sometimes that part of once you climb up a hill to become a champion, that's the hardest part, is making those next challengers. Sometimes, now they don't have that problem with, I guess once Gunther and CM Punk and all that, they're not gonna have that problem on Raw. That is, they got 4 people right there ready to roll, and so that's gonna be one thing that they're gonna have to try to figure out, who's gonna be that next person from there to there. Will it be Mercedes Moné? Will it be Dr. Britt? Who who's going to be that person. So I saw that. So that's what I'm intrigued to see. But I'm all about timeless, and so I don't want to see a loser, man, because I need to continue to see greatness. But the climb back up could be fun to watch, because just her trying to get her title back. If they do this right, they send her out for a while, and then she comes back out of nowhere, coming to get that title. That could be something I would definitely be invested in seeing.
I like that. Heartbreak Prince, what's your thoughts, man? What you think?
I'm in the Mariah May camp. I would hate to see Thomas Toni Storm, have to go down and lose in this way, but what better way to do it at the same time? I think the work that Mariah's been putting in, and the fact that at this point in time, let's just be honest, Toni Storm, I don't believe needs the title to represent her greatness. I mean, we all know and respect timeless Toni Storm, but the work that Mariah May has put in to kind of start to make or create this name for herself, I need to see her and want to see her run with this story, because this is what we've been talking about with AEW and their women's division. Who can step up, so they don't constantly have to put the belt on, big names, who can be like somebody that's homegrown and then, carry the women's division forward. And I think they're hitting that goal with these four women right now: Mariah May, Toni Storm, Mercedes Moné, and Britt Baker. But I want to see Mariah May, just go ahead and take the torch and start this whole revolution, evolution, whatever you want to call it, in the women's division for AEW, because I think it needs it, and I'm glad they're finally giving the women's division the time of day and the storylines that get people invested, as you like to talk about all the time, Eric. Make me invested. They've done that with this, and so now I want to see Mariah May go ahead and carry the torch forward. Yeah,
definitely, man. Y'all know me. You gotta make me invested. I ain't gonna put my money in something if it ain't gonna look good. Deion said, what he say? If you look good, you play good. You play good, you play good, they pay good. You know what I'm saying? So if it ain't looking good, I ain't investing in it. Shoot, Stat man, what's your thoughts, man? What you think?
First off, because I can't, like, I'm on a roll now. I'm in my bag, bro. Just to let you put it out there, there have been 8 different AEW men's world championships and champions, and there have been 8 different AEW women's champions. They have the exact same number of title holders, just because I had to put that out there. 2, Mariah May's from London, and the cynic in me is like, she ain't going to win in her hometown. I want her to win, but I just don't think she is. But I think, to extend upon what Heartbreak said, I think we're in a good place, possibly the best place we've been in AEW women's division history right now, because they're trying to build those homegrown stars, because you have the main 4 right now for both belts. Of course, the champion right now, the 2 champions, the main champions, have been coming from the outside the company. But like Britt Baker, you consider a homegrown star. Did she make her name outside AEW before she came in? She did, but she was one of the first original signings. She was the first women's signing to AEW, so I would credit her as a homegrown star. Toni Storm, she made her name outside AEW. Mariah May, this is they're one of their first real, homegrown stars in a while for the women's division. And then even I have to look further down the card too, because I'm a big fan of what Willow and Chris Statlander are doing too as well. Just their stories has been a lot of fun too. It's just it's in a good place right now with AEW women's division, and this is one of the few times I'd say it might be better than WWE's right now. I wouldn't be mad at someone saying that, just because I think they're in a good spot right now with what they have with the 2 main belt stories and then an undercard story that's hitting pretty good for me. So I'm interested to see where it goes, because it's just they've been, I hate to say it, by far the weaker women's division of the 2 companies, but now they're starting to kick up a little bit, and hopefully it carries, and they get that TV deal soon, and maybe we might see a little bit more of them in the future.
Yeah, definitely, man. I think, I think, and we've talked about it before, I think that women's division is definitely it's really actually stacking up to look kind of solid. I wouldn't even say solid, it's looking a little strong. I'm not gonna say it.
Roger Strong.
That's it. I had to, but no. In all seriousness, I think it's shaping up to look really good. I can tell it's looking really promising I mean, when we look at a lot of these storylines right now, I think just like you was saying, Statman, I think the biggest thing too that I don't think we paying attention to is definitely Willow Nightingale and Chris Statlander. Shout out to y'all because y'all both from Long Island. You know what I'm saying? Got to shout y'all out. But I love that. I love that friendship betrayal kind of thing that they got going for them. And with Malcolm Bivens being up in there, I think they got something solid. It seems like we've talked about their storylines was looking shaky, but it's looking good. I like it. But hey, talk about AEW for a little bit. Let's get to one of the best parts of the week, Friday Night Smackdown. Come on, man. We talk about some of the great things that we've seen this week. We talked about 3 hours of fire. We talked about NXT with the women's division. We talked about Dynamite with their women's division. We got to talk about a couple things with SmackDown. I'm not even going to talk about one of the main things we want to talk about right now. But one big thing we need to talk about before we talk about the main thing. Street Profits. Street Profits versus DIY, baby. And honestly, we've talked about this, and I never understood why the tag team division was lacking. And right now, it seems like it's possibly on a come up. I'm not going to say that 100%. I still think the tag team division does lack, whether you're talking about the men's or the women's division, if you're talking about WWE or NXT. For some reason, I don't know why this is a problem right now. Because, you look at tag team wrestling in the division, what do you always see him at? Either you don't see him on the main card or you see him on the pre-show. So I never understood what was this whole problem with them. But what I will say, we got a 5-star match from the Street Profits and from DIY. Now people want to know about these speculations. They've been saying stuff about the Street Profits. Street Profits ain't had a title in 3 years, which is insane to even hear, and even for me to say that to come out of my mouth. Pause. But it's crazy to even say that these men have not had a title in 3 years. It's crazy to say that these men have always been getting robbed from title shots and title opportunities. Some may even say, how come Montez Ford hasn't had a single title run? How come Montez Ford, how come my man wasn't getting pushed for the Elimination Chamber to get the U.S. title, but you gave it to Austin Theory, and you knew how much Taz was getting. He was getting over. That man was over the same way Kofi was over for Kofi Mania when he was in the Elimination Chamber in 2019. Let's talk about it.
Preach, okay? Brother, preach.
I'm sick of this, man. No. I'm sick of this. My man Taz been working hard. He been working damn hard on whether it's NXT, whether we talk about Raw, when he was sitting there playing with a little bit. We talking about Smack. It don't matter. My man, first of all, I love Angelo Dawkins. That's my man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to him. His grandmother passed away not too long ago. So, praise go up to him. But, my man Taz is a superstar. You look at him. He's superstar. He comes on, he got a show. Him and Bianca, superstar. What else more do you have to say for this man not to have a title? Superstar. He can get on the mic and go crazy. He can get on there and get in the ring and jump about 20 feet in the air. Y'all are not going to keep doing this to my man Taz. And I think people have now heard maybe and listened to what was going on for my man Taz. Because, we can all say, because he's been posting stuff every week saying, man, I'm just trying to, this is it. This week, we going this week. That looks crazy. Like you keep saying this week, and this week you keep losing. Y'all got my man looking like a fraud. Like he's a failure. I'm sick of this. But tables turn. See my man Taz, you see my man Docs, the Street Profits, they up, and they got the smoke. So now they getting a title shot. Now, for the title shot, I pray to God maybe they will get this W. But how would that look for the tag team division if they do take the titles off of the bloodline? Would that look a little discrediting for the title run? Would that look a little maybe discrediting just for the titles in general to say that, hey, you can't get a long title run when it comes to the WWE tag team champions? I'm going to calm down a little bit. So, Heartbreak Prince, what are your thoughts?
No, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head on a number of different factors. I mean, we've been talking about this for a minute as far as why the tag team division is not getting any type of love, respect. I mean, we're talking about titles here, and to have these titles not even on main shows, PLEs, whatever you want to call them, and if you do put them on a PLE, they're the pre-show, which, let's just be honest, not too many people catch the pre-show. So you're not even watching people that are carrying belts as champions, with any type of storylines that matter, that invest you. And I don't know what's going on with it. And I feel like what's been happening lately with the WWE, especially in their tag titles, is they've kind of fallen away, like to the side, as far as more for storyline purposes. Now, I will give them a little grace. All right, they did have to put the tag team. Okay, I'm not gonna say have to. Let me correct myself. They put the tag team titles on the Usos because, of course, we had the whole head of the table and that faction, and everybody being undisputed champions. So I gotta respect that. It served its purpose. But the fact that DIY wins the titles 3 weeks later, loses the titles to Tongaloa, and I don't understand why they felt that they needed belts in that group at all. Anyway, it just kind of shows the disrespect for the tag titles and tag team wrestling. But then this past week here on Smackdown, to have two great tag team talents, DIY and Street Profits, get in the ring and put on the match that they put on, only makes me question one thing. Did Triple H and the staff there witness this and say, okay, hey, we need to go ahead and start actually investing time, television, and energy into this tag division and make it relevant again? Because if you can give A1 bangers like DIY and the Street Profits just delivered in SmackDown, imagine what you can do if you actually invested time in it and made stories that matter, that people want to see, especially with your tag team division. I mean, I think you have goal, and I think it goes a long way. Shout out to the Street Profits. They've been grinding. They've been working. Shout out to Montez Ford. He's been grinding. He's been working, changing his body, everything. And, I don't know when Triple H and the rest of the staff there is going to see him as the talent that he is. But, hey, keep doing this, and they got to put some respect on your name soon.
Yeah, man. Look, Tez, I ain't going to tell you nothing we ain't been saying before, bro. Look, we behind you. Regardless, pause. I mean, we all for you, man. Like, at the end of the day, I mean, we gotta think about it. No Diddy on that one. I had you. Come on, that sounded crazy. Like, I mean, we gotta look at it, man. My man, I think we also talked about too with the tag team division, and I know we talked about this even before we were even going live not too long ago. We talked about how the tag team division has just started almost. They're getting rid of actual tag teams and grabbing singles guys and creating tag teams with that. Oh, you don't believe me? I'll give an example. A-Town Down Under. That's a joke. Baron Corbin and Apollo Crews. That's a joke. Oh, we can go to NXT and talk about what was Axiom and the other guy. That's a joke, even though they were a really good tag team. But I'm sick of this. Why are we doing this? Why is this a thing that it's so normal? I mean, look, we already got the New Day. They're damn near about to break up any day now. Again, A-Town Down Under, they're definitely gonna break up sooner or later. Like we already see that coming. But it's like now you had that tag team, now you're about to break them up. What are we doing here? What are
Awesome
we doing?
Truth.
Yeah. Bound to happen. That's a perfect example, Harper Prince. That is perfect. No. And I think they got to stop doing that. If we went back to like 2016, we went back to 2016, 2017 when you had a solid, amazing tag team division. We're talking Alpha Academy, Uso,
FTR, I think was there.
FTR was there. You had the Colognes, which was Carlito and Epico. You had a solid. You had Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. It was Enzo and Big Cass. You had a bunch. You had a solid. Like you could have did a whole bunch, and they squandered that. Stat man, What are your thoughts?
There have been 3 teams that have won the tag team Triple Crown in WWE history. Like I'm in my bag. I told you guys this already.
Let's go, Cook.
FTR, Street Profits, and I'm blanking on the third team. Damn. New Day. Sorry, New Day. They just did it last year. But I think we're a little spoiled here in this situation. I don't want to say I don't agree with you guys, but I don't agree with you guys. I think right now the tag team that you mentioned from 2016, they all started from absolutely nothing, just throwing them together. Because you remember they threw Enzo and Cass together in NXT randomly, and it just worked out. They threw American Alpha together randomly, and you remember when Jason Jordan was going through partner after partner after partner on NXT, and then somehow Chad Gable sticks to him. You look at FTR; those are random guys. Like a lot of these teams, like Enzo and Cass and FTR, they had the extra special connection of being from the same area, but all these tag teams started from nothing. And I think one thing too as well, you could have just stopped with Baron Corbin, and he himself is just a joke himself as a wrestler. But I digress. But like all these tag teams start from nothing. And speaking of tag teams, got to send out a real quick rest in peace to Alpha, and it's within 2 months we lost both of the Wild Samoans, so I got to give them their props first too, since we're talking about tag teams. But I like it, and I want to throw this out there too, because speaking of Samoan wrestlers, if they get their shot at Bash at Berlin, and now that's if Jacob Fatu can actually travel outside the country, say they get their shot. There's been a wrestler that has been signed to the company allegedly since about June, July-ish that we haven't seen yet, and if you know who that is, it's Hikuleo. And I think they're not done with bringing these bloodline guys back in. Jay and Jimmy are going to join this story back up somehow. I don't know how. We said it last week. That we kind of know where the story is going to happen, but we don't know how we're going to get there. So I think if they do the tag team shot in Berlin, I think there's a chance that he could debut and it would be a screwy finish. Will I be happy with it? Not necessarily, because again, I love the Street Profits myself. I think Montez Ford is going to, if anything, I'd say he's going to be up there as far as one of the better Intercontinental champions of all time once he gets to that singles race. But I think we have to have a little bit of patience. We're spoiled. We've been really, in WWE, we've been having like really good era of the last 10, 15 years of tag teams together with the New Day, with FTR, with the Usos and everything. Like, I will thank God for him putting me on this earth to watch that Hell in a Cell match between the New Day and the Usos. Because that was one of the best matches I've ever seen in my life. So, like, but I also got to think, like, we've been spoiled. Like I said, we got to let it develop. We gotta give it time to get a new, some new tag teams on the scene to build up new characters. But I will say, Baron Corbin and Apollo Crews, that's just that was a miss right off the bat. I'll admit that in a heartbeat. Apollo Crews himself should be a superstar himself. Like, he was Montez Ford 5 years ago, because he can jump out the ring. You saw this dude coming in NXT and he's doing, standing shooting star, like a standing moonsault as a finisher, and that pop-up spin around powerbomb. Like, I was like, oh snap, this dude's going places. But like, it just never amounted to anything. But you got to give it time. We got to work out, if we're breaking up all these tag teams, they got to make some new ones. So we just got to give it time and just let's see where the story's going.
I feel that. You know what, man, just always changing dynamic on that. God, man. Mr. Xclusive, what are your thoughts, man? What you think?
Oh man, well, I'm gonna keep it pretty simple, but going back, the two tag team thing has been, or the two just let's bring people together thing has been happening forever, but it really took hold, in my opinion, in the early 2000s. I think that's when it started to like really like become like a more of a like a consistent thing, and now it's at a point where we just toss them, especially in the women's division. Who you and who. You go make magic happen, and then they may go win the tag team titles or whatever. But that's been going for a long time, and so I'm not surprised. But I personally don't like it. I would love to see them build more tag teams. So to kind of what Russ was saying, just hoping that they can build those teams up. And I do understand the long term storytelling, because I talk about it all the time, and But my thing with that is, I look at this and as much as I love the tag team and I love the Street Profits, it's time for Montez Ford to be. It's time. Like, it's overdue, in my opinion. Now, look, he doesn't have to go win a title right away, but it's time for him to get the singles push, in my opinion, that he deserves. And for them to kill it, a couple years ago after that Elimination Chamber, he was cooking in that Elimination Chamber match, and for them to just kind of like go away from it, and they kind of showed it in the show that him and Bianca had. And they kind of gave us a glimpse into how, what his thought process was there. And I just hated to see him not continue to make that happen, and it may have been something, maybe he just decided, okay, he want to stick with Doc, and I understand that too. But there, at some point, I feel like he's got everything that you want. He can talk. He's obviously amazing in the ring. He's got charisma through the roof. I think, if Ricochet can be an Intercontinental Champion, as talented as he is, and can't talk on the mic, I'm telling you right now, Montez Ford can do all of that. Give this man, and it may not be now because it's too much, but could you imagine what a Montez Ford and Braun Breaker title match would look like, maybe sometime in January leading up into WrestleMania, something like that? It could be good. But, I'll wait for it. Just don't forget about my man. That's all I'm asking.
Mr. Exclusive, I'll do you a better one. Imagine Montez Ford and LA Knight just going back and forth on the mic.
Great. That'd be great.
Crazy.
Yeah.
They'd go crazy. That would go crazy.
Do you guys remember when Stone Cold and Triple H were tag team champions together?
Yeah.
You bring up early 2000 tag teams that were randomly put together?
Yeah.
Stone Cold and Undertaker.
I'll throw out another one. Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit. That was one of my favorites.
Yeah. Brothers of Destruction was just thrown together.
Yeah.
Not bad.
So,
see, that's not bad. That's not bad. One Night Bates. What are your thoughts, man? What you think?
I agree with Statman. You just gotta be patient on everything. Especially for Montez. We've all seen, he's got it to go on a singles run, but what if that's not what he wants? We're diehard fans and we're pushing our thoughts onto him. You know what I mean? So we just got to be patient on that. Kind of going back to the original topic, they cooked DIY and the Street Profits, and I feel like you get that like every couple of weeks or so. It'll just be just a random banger, for a tag team match that you wouldn't think would go crazy, but they let those boys go. They gave them a good amount of time, and they did. They delivered. It was something else Statman was saying. I'm kind of going blank at the moment, but yeah, man, you just gotta just wait on it. Just be patient. Just be patient. That's it.
I feel like that's the biggest thing, man. I'm trying to be patient, but if I'm being honest, 3-4 years, how much more patience you want me to give? How much more do y'all want me to get? I can't. No. I'll be honest. I can be patient. I think I wouldn't want it to be rushed. I think if they do it for Montez, I would want them to do it right. Let it be strong and let it be a good title run if they do it for him down the line. But yeah, I think he can definitely do a singles run and still be with Dogs. Still be around BFAB. I'm not gonna lie, BFAB is great, but sometimes I almost question what's the point of her being there. She kind of gives me like the Maxine Dupree vibes. Like, we don't really need you here, but it's good that you're here. Because if I'm being honest, both of them boys can talk on their own.
You're disrespecting B-Fab.
No, I'm not. No.
Oh, you're just here. Just eye candy.
No, it's not that.
Give that woman some respect.
I like B-Fab. I think she's good.
She don't do anything. You ain't wrong.
Yeah, but I think if they gave her more in the ring, I think she'd be good. Which, from what I've heard from my man AJ, aka Mo Dollar, but he even says that she's great in the ring. They just never really gave her that, that opportunity. We'll see what happens with it. But B-Fab's all right. But we gotta give Tez a single one. We gotta give it to him.
I think he would be perfect. Not to cut off, because I know I'm trailing a little bit behind, but I think within the next 5 years, I think the perfect push for Montez Ford would be for him to win the Royal Rumble and challenge for a belt at Mania. I think that would be perfect for him. And who's to say, like, I don't know if it's a set stone cold rule, but who's to say if you win the Royal Rumble that you can't go for the U.S. or Intercontinental title? It just says, I think it just says a belt. Now, I don't think, it may bring it down a little bit, but like, I think like Montez Ford winning the Royal Rumble, regardless, I think would be perfect for him. So like,
gotta go
I
for the
think
big
within the
boy.
next 5 years, I think he should win a Royal Rumble for sure.
Do it like your wife did, bro. Do it like your wife. But I mean, we're gonna talk about greatness. We gotta talk about the best part of the show. We gotta talk about it, man. Let's get right into it. The ending part of the show. We had Solo Sikoa. He came out with good old Tama Tonga. Comes out, says I'm the tribal chief. This, that, and the third. And who else better to come out than the real tribal chief himself, the original, the only. My man Roman Reigns comes out. Now, we already know, we can talk about it. This is 10 years of what we thought, what should have been. But he's there. And now look at him. Now Solo's out here looking real serious. Now they have a nice little stare down. Roman comes in, beats the hell out of Solo, Tama Tonga. And by the way, if we want to talk about something that felt a little personal, there's a few hits that Roman gave Tama Tonga that felt a little personal. Goes in, red shot, goes crazy. The crowd is feeling it. Now he grabs the Ulafalo. He grabs this. Now we're like, oh man, that's it. Tribal Chief, he got it. Now he puts it on. Now, to be honest, I felt like this was it. This was the time.
Oh yeah.
So we all thought until the werewolf himself comes in. First of all, to do this on a boot. What a boot. You're diabolical, sir. Something is wrong with you. Comes in, goes crazy. They put Roman Reigns through the table. And this is the finish right here. Now, to be honest, we want to talk about something that was crazy. I thought, first of all, seeing Jacob Fatu running in the boot was insane. Full speed. It wasn't like, he was hobbling. Nah, it was almost like he could have took that boot off and he would have been running the same exact speed. No cap. Okay? I mean, we talk about aura. We talk about storyline. We talk about how good is this getting. I mean, to be honest, I keep wondering where this is going. Now, the fact that they keep giving this like the last 10, 15 minutes, I'm like, y'all are low-key killing me with this. But I like it. I like what they're doing. I like the fact that they didn't bring Tonga Loa. Because, hey, it wouldn't have been Tonga Loa if he didn't botch something up. So I think him not being there was a good decision. But I mean, everything as a whole, I think when we look at Jacob Fatu, came and looked strong. I mean, and that was one thing we talked about last week. I said, if we're gonna bring Jacob Fatu, how is he gonna look going up against Roman Reigns? Well, they answered that question very thoroughly because he looks strong, baby. Roderick strong. Heartbreak Prince, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I don't even know where to begin on this or where to start with this. It was just great storytelling. It was excitement. It was anxiety. It was a lot of things all rolled into one. To see, the OTC walk out there. You see what he, goes in the ring, rec shop, and he picks up, the bees, the lure fowl. If I said it correctly, I apologize. And you see him put it on, and it's kind of like, this is what we've been waiting for. And not only that, but then it's also in my head for a second, I thought, is this too soon? What happens next? And then, out of nowhere, the werewolf comes in, goes savage, leaves Roman in the middle of the ring. They're standing over him. And what I feel I would like to see, just personally, is the wise man to come back, go ahead and whisper into Roman's ear, no Diddy, and tell him, hey, you got to make things right with Jimmy and Jay, and have Roman go in and just, Jimmy, Jay, I need you. I can't do this without you. I got to have y'all at my side as my wings if I'm going to, take back, what is mine. And so that's kind of what I would like to see. But again, I'm here for the story. They have my attention. They have me invested. And the way SmackDown did it this past Friday was just perfect, because it kind of gave you what you wanted to see and then took it away from you and say, hey, now you don't know what direction we're getting ready to run with this. And so I love it. It's gonna make me tune in again on Friday.
I agree, man. I agree. I'm gonna piggyback off of what you said, man, because I do think he's definitely gonna grab with the Usos, and I also think he's gonna grab with my man Sami Zayn. I think Sami Zayn is gonna be somebody who's definitely gonna call for help, because Sami been doing this with the Bloodline for a little minute. First one in, last one in, first one out. So hey, you call Sami Zayn, that's gonna definitely equal out that playing field if you're doing that 4-on-4 for that Civil War. Statman, what are your thoughts? What you think, man?
I think the second enforcer is looking a lot stronger than the first enforcer right now, because Jacob Fatu is looking extremely strong. And I think this is what at least what I think they were trying to do with Solo when he first came in, because they gave him John Cena, but like that just wasn't it. That just didn't work. It wasn't cooking right. But like they've been hitting it with Jacob Fatu, and so I like that they're giving him some good things to do, because not a lot of people probably knew him when he first stepped in, other than he was just related to these guys somehow. So like I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see where it goes, because I've already mentioned Hikuleo, but like there's been so many other rumors about them adding like the female tag team that were free agents not too long ago. Nia Jax has a belt right now, although she's not involved in the stories, but she's still family. So like this whole bloodline thing is just, there's so much that they could do with it, because this family is absolutely huge. But I think it's also because like it is very clearly, this is not even like Triple H creative. This is Triple H give him the freedom to do it, because Roman Reigns has been like hands on with this whole bloodline storyline. And if this was like a Vince thing in his era, I don't think we would have had this, like we wouldn't be this invested in this whole story at this point, because Vince would have probably done some crazy stuff at this point to try and change it up and break somebody up by now and do all that kind of crazy stuff. But like they've given him the control during this whole story, and now we're getting to like a new chapter in the story, and I'm excited to see where this goes, because I think that possibly they could be setting up for Solo versus Jacob Fatu, because if the two enforcers, after say Roman comes back, he reclaims the head of the table, like my enforcer let me down, so now Jacob Fatu and Solo got to go through their whole thing, and it's just what's next after Roman Reigns takes back control of the head of the table, and where they go from there, and how long are they going to hold the tag team belts. And thank God Tongalo wasn't out there to screw anything up, and hopefully he keeps doing that. But like I'm excited to see where it goes, and I want the next part of the story now. This is the one thing I don't want to be patient on. I want the next part of the story now.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, man. They've been just peeling back those layers of just this story, how deep the family gets. And I agree with you. Stat man. I think when we look at SmackDown is legitimately for the Samoans. I mean, there's only one Samoan on Raw, and that's Jey Uso. But if you threw him on there, I mean, you got the whole family on there, and that's including Naomi. Yes, because she's on SmackDown too. You got the whole bloodline there, and again, it's that family's deep, man. It's deep.
They can bring in Umaga's son.
No, which I did see some things about that too. I think they're on the process of getting him signed as well. Mr. Exclusive, what are your thoughts? What do you think, man?
Man, so I mean, it's we talked a couple weeks ago about the best storylines in wrestling. Well, I mean, this is definitely in that mix. And as much as people say, you hear some people say, I'm tired of the storyline. How could you be tired of this storyline? It's been great every step of the way. Even when there was only maybe one or two times where I thought the storyline was kind of pulling. I said it's kind of dry. Maybe at the very beginning of this cluster, I thought, okay, what are they doing here? How are they gonna figure it out? And then I think there was a time where Roman was just, they were trying to find the next person or trying to extend, his streak up into the Mania. It was maybe one time during there. But right now they're doing, it's getting where it needs to be once again. And now that's the best part. We really don't know who's going to be on whose side when the time comes. I do like the Sami Zayn idea. because we remember how much, even though the bloodline was a heel faction, we knew how much the fans love Sami Zayn being a part of the bloodline. And just imagine, could you imagine where Roman comes to Sami or whatever, and they embrace, and he's like, "Look, I need you." Could you imagine the crowd reaction if they hugged or something like that? I mean, it takes it to a whole nother level. It just to bring that back in the fold. And we remember how bad it was between Jay and Sami when they first started. Look at them now. They're probably going to be the next tag team champions over there. I would put money on it that it would happen within the next 2 months. So I see that coming. That's going to happen at some point. So I think that's going to be the next push for them to be tag team champions, which I don't like. I don't like that for Jay because he needs. I still think the single title reign needs to be in there somewhere. But I think that's where he might get kind of lost in the sauce, and they end up, moving him back into that tag team front. But that's out of the point. The bloodline is cooking. We're starting to crank up a little bit. I'm intrigued to see where Roman takes this. Paul Heyman actually said something, I think the other day, it may have been yesterday in the interview, and they had asked him about, what was next, and that, he's pretty much was saying, like, Solo's got more. Like, he pretty much was saying, like, giving an indication there could be more up the sleeve. It's going to be fun. It's going to be great. This is one that I don't mind. I know Russ says I want it now, but this is one I don't mind sitting back and kind of just waiting on, because there's just so much that could come from it. So I can't wait to see what goes down.
I feel that. Like, like we've been saying, the layers. That's the big thing that Roman was talking about. You're saying them layers, we just gonna keep pulling them back, peeling them back. How many more layers you got? Because I'm willing to see what you got there. Pause. That sounded crazy as well. One night, babes, what you got, man? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, man. This is gonna be interesting for Roman. Are we gonna have that moment where he's sitting in the locker room all beat up, and then one guy comes from the left is Jay, and the other comes from the other side is Jimmy, and they don't even say any words. They just join together like the old Shield did. But I don't know, man. We'll see. This story is the reason why y'all tag teams suck so bad. The brain trust, the thinking is going all to this bloodline story. No one cares about anything else. That's why this is so good. I mean, I don't blame them for it. WWE is a money making machine, so they are going to keep trucking. But I'm very interested to see who's going to help out Roman. And, I mean, is he going to get on two knees and ask for somebody to help him? Pause, I guess. And or is somebody going to come and help him? That's the thing, because Roman, he's got pride with that. What's it called? The Ula Fala, whatever that necklace is.
I should just say lay.
Didn't he? I don't know. Didn't he look like Thanos when he put that ring in? How like euphoric it was. It looked a little weird. He was, his body was, it's like mad tingly for him or something, like relax, Roman. We know you're the guy, but you don't need that to signify that you're the head of the table. You are the head of the table. You put the butts in the seats, as people say, But this will be very interesting to see who he gets to balance it out for this Civil War. I think it's the Usos personally. I think they'll eventually come back together and help him out, but it could be anybody. I know y'all say it's Sammy, but man, he put that man in the dirt. He put all of them in the dirt. That's why I'm like, who can he get? There's nobody, to be honest.
And
unless
that's
they
why
keep bringing. Oh, go ahead.
No, go. No, I was gonna say, and that's what I think will add to this story, is the fact that he's now got to go back and right the wrong that he did to pretty much all of his crew, because he put himself first for so long, and now he's got to actually depend on other people to help him, because there's no way, we saw on Monday, he's going to be able to take out this new bloodline on his own. He's going to need help, and so now this is like this redemption tour.
Yeah. I could definitely see that, man. It's just like, is that going to be a sad scene, seeing Roman grovel to try to get people to come back and help him, or am I going too far? You think just people just going to randomly appear and be like, "We'll help you, Roman. Let's get you back head of the table." No. I don't know. I mean, whatever they do, I have trust in WWE that they will right this ship right, and they will make it great for us fans.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with both of y'all. I do think though it's gonna be that 4-on-4 with Solo, Tongaloa, Tama Tonga, Jacob Fatu go up against Roman, Usos, Sami Zayn. That's kind of my thought. I think where they might go with it if they do decide to bring Sami Zayn, and I think. And the reason why I said Sami Zayn is because I think they're kind of lining it up to where I think they are gonna have him in there because like he's not really doing anything. He just lost the Intercontinental title. It just kind of seems like the whole thing with him and Braun's kind of done. And he's kind of just like in this gray area, like and it's just in this space where he's kind of not doing anything. So I think this was kind of like one of those perfect times. I mean, I would even say that for Jay right now. I haven't really seen too much of Jay Uso right now. Like he's still doing, not to say he's not doing anything, but in terms of like, title pictures or any like major storylines, you don't really see him doing too much right now. Of course, trying to highlight Monty and say, he said, But, besides that, I think it's looking solid. I think this is looking good. And I like how this is going. But we're talking about a lot of great things, man. So let's see who truly knows their wrestling. All right, Stat Man, give it to us. Pause. Run this question for us one more time.
So again, four guys. The four guys have won the Triple Crown in both WCW, and that's pre-2002, I think, or 2001 before the buyout officially closed it. And four guys have won it in WWE. Can you name the four men that have won both of them in both companies?
Can I go first?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Can I go first?
Please do.
Okay, all right. So I'm going with Booker T.
Yep, that was my first one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with Jericho, Eddie Guerrero, and Chris Benoit.
Okay.
Everybody got quiet. I'm like, was I wrong?
Well, because we all gotta say it. So
we all gotta say it. Okay, but that's what I'm going with. All
right. So mine, Booker T, Goldberg, Ric Flair, and I literally had the last one in my head. Wait a minute. Hold on. Hulk Hogan.
He just changed. Okay, so I was going Booker T, Jericho. Oh no, dang! Now I'm blanking on this. Booker T, Jericho, Eddie Guerrero, and I was thinking initially Rey Mysterio, but I'm afraid
Rey Mysterio's a good one.
Oh man, I'm afraid that might not be it, but that's what I'm thinking.
Rey Mysterio's a good one.
Okay.
I can't, but I don't think Rey Mysterio ever won a WCW belt. I don't. Yeah.
I was gonna say kind of the same thing you guys are saying. I had Booker T in my mind. I had Goldberg for some reason. I just went blank on the other two. I like that Rey Mysterio one. It's stolen. And then Chris Jericho is the last one for me.
Okay, so real quick, boss, what was your four? Real quick, rattle that off.
So I had Booker T, Eddie Guerrero, which now that I really think about it is definitely wrong. And then when he said the word, I was like, that's not right. And I also said Jericho and I said Benoit. But the more and more I think about it, I don't think none of those guys won the world championship in WCW. And I'm like, So when he said Hogan, I'm like, that's right, Hogan, Flair. Okay, whatever. Go ahead and step, man. I'm done. I know I didn't get none of them right. I'm okay.
So I think you were the one that was the closest as my glasses fall apart. Sorry. You were the one that was closest. I think the hardest name that was going to be on this list would have been Chris Benoit. That's one of them.
Oh, nice. Oh, nice.
And I'm surprised that you guys didn't get the obvious clue, and I'll tell you how I gave you the Easter egg at the when I first at the beginning of the show. But Booker T was also another correct one. He's number 2.
Okay.
The last 2 are 2 definite Hall of Famers. One, Bret Hart.
Oh, my God.
The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be.
I thought about it. I did.
I'm disgusted.
I thought about Brett for a second. I was like, nah.
The last one, I thought I had given this one. I thought I'd given this one away when I held up the 4 as the 4
the
horsemen.
4 horsemen.
Was that Flair?
Ric Flair.
Okay.
Okay.
I had 2.
Okay.
Here's another one.
So I think I thought Benoit was going to be the hardest one to get, but obviously not because you got that right away. But the other 3 I thought were kind of obvious because if you think about it, Hulk Hogan never won an IC title.
Yeah.
Rey Mysterio never won a WCW main title. He won the cruiserweight
That's what I
title.
couldn't remember. Yeah.
Eddie Guerrero had those. Eddie Guerrero, speaking of which, he had those cruiserweight matches with Chris Jericho, with Rey Mysterio. And then I think there was another good one that you guys said too as well. But Chris Benoit was the only one that was kind of a tweener because he won his in 2000, which was one of the latest ones.
What about Jericho?
Jericho won the World Heavyweight title. It wasn't a WCW title.
Oh, he never beats the top of the mountain in WCW.
Yeah.
Boy.
There's no holding me back. I'm about to get canceled. Let me stop. We're not gonna act like Chris Benoit theme song didn't hit. There's no.
That was also another kind of a clue because in my eyes, barring an outside tragedy, all 4 of these men should have been Hall of Famer. So it's just unfortunate where we live in, but yeah, that all 4 of these men should have been Hall of Famers.
Agreed.
Phenomenal wrestler with Benoit, but he gets no play. Yeah, we can't do that. No. Phenomenal wrestler, trash individual.
Fair.
Agreed.
Yeah, I can't do.
He was my guy for the longest time, but man. Go.
Yeah. When we talk about Benoit, boy, that's a sticky situation. Well, hey, we had a great night talking about wrestling, talking about the week. You know how we do. We break it down every week, and we make it sound amazing. What can I say? This is what we've been doing. For all you guys that are watching, please like, subscribe, comment, and turn on those notifications so you know when we coming up and we coming around because we always are dropping some stuff all throughout the week. And as always, I'm Eric Knight. We got the Heartbreak Prince. We got the Stat Man. We got Mr. Exclusive. And we got One Night Bates. So thank you again for watching the Xclusive Knights podcast where the Knights will never
be the same.